of our commitment and our partnership to make significant progress together.
I'd like to welcome Reverend Jochen from Switzerland via Zoom. Reverend, welcome to the Global Health Catalyst series.
I'm very pleased to be there. I'm already eagerly looking forward to meeting you all in person.
Absolutely. Before we even get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Of course, I didn't say all your name, your full name, what you do, and really how it aligns with the work of the Global Health Catalyst Summit.
Well, my name is Jochen Kirsch. I'm director of Mission 21, which is an international fellowship of more than 70 churches in more than 20 countries in Asia, Africa, Europe, and Latin America since more than 200 years. And together as a fellowship, we are engaged in international development cooperation and international learning. I feel very honored to be invited to this conference, and I'm really looking forward for opportunities for learning and exchange, for inspiration and new ideas, and also for fruitful opportunities of networking and cooperation. Yeah.
Fantastic. So one of the things that easily struck me is you're a reverend, so you're a religious leader, and oftentimes we don't have conversations where people intersect religion and international development. Can you give us a synopsis, a very short intro about how that happens and why it's important to have that blend of religion or fellowship with international development?
Sure. Well, first of all, my own background is, yes, I'm a theologian, a master's in Protestant theology, and but I'm also a trained development worker, and I have a master's in business administration. So I'm trying to, in my office, I try to combine those three as best as I can. And as far as I can tell, they seem to be merging quite well with each other. And what I hope to be able to contribute to the conference is to shed some light on the relationship between religion and development, because when we're talking about countries in the so-called global south, I mean, that's always a matter of perspective, right? Whereas north and south and east and west. But anyway, let's use that term for the time being. So if we talk about countries in the global south, most of the people in the so-called global north tend to ignore, for one reason or the other, that those countries are very heavily, that religion plays a very major role in those contexts, or most of those contexts. And so I think it is unprofessional not to take that into account, or to put it the other way around. It is highly necessary to take the role of religious actors and religious factors into account when you try to do sustainable development cooperation on eye level. And that is why I hope to be able to contribute something to that conference, and also to the concept of health, not just as a purely physical kind of thing, but it is related with social relationships, with placing yourself in a larger context than just your own body.
Right. How long have you been doing the work that you are doing, and what have been some of the best practices you have seen by people involved in development work, especially in the global south?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Vivian. I personally have been involved in international development cooperation since more than 35 years now. And what I think some of the best practices I've actually seen are done by churches and faith-based actors. So churches and also Muslim organizations, because I've realized that they're already part of the context, and they know the context, they are part of the context, And by working through them, it's possible to have sustainable development cooperation with a huge impact and a broad participation from all kinds of people. And that is what I find so important, that we really, when we talk about leaving no one behind, it means how do we do that? How can we make a conscious effort to include not only the big people, which are often men, but also the women who are actually the backbone of development cooperation? How can we also include the youth? How can we include people who might be marginalized in society or in the power structures of that particular context? And to me, faith-based organizations and churches are those actors that can really do that. And at the same time, religion can be used in many ways, in constructive ways in terms of development cooperation, but they can also hinder development cooperation. I mean, when we talk, religion can be used as a cover-up for other agendas, economical, political, power agendas, or religion can be used as let me call it an excuse for injustice and inequality. Oh, you're not praying enough, you're not paying enough. And for us, to make use of that very important and valuable resource of religion and development cooperation, we use theological education, both of the so-called laity and of the so-called professionals, to make them sensitive on the burning issues of society and allow theology and religion to sort of digest those burning issues of society and turn them into a positive response. For example, if I give you an example, and you just cut me short in the video if that's too much, but to just use an example, one of the major challenges in sub-Saharan Africa remains to be, in the area of health, remains to be HIV. And there have been some theologies that tend to portray HIV as a punishment from God for sinful behavior. While we know that HIV is basically showing deficits in the immune system of a society. It is those members of the society that are least protected by society that are most likely to be infected, like girls, young women, or just to give you an example, because they have less rights over their bodies and over their lives, they are the ones who are most likely to be infected. And the sinful behavior, if you want to talk about that at all, is not those girls, but it's the society. It's the sin, it's the injustice in the society that makes those girls, to use the example, to put them at such high risk. And I think theology can give a different approach. Say, look, we have a responsibility as a church for the sanity, for the strength of our body as a society. And we have to take care of those members of the body, I'm talking in theological terms now, those members of the body who are most exposed to such dangers. So how can we improve the immune system of our body? How can we improve the immune system of our society? And it's not by excluding those who are already so much a danger, but it's by including them and by strengthening their rights in society, strengthening the rights of women, strengthening the rights of widows, strengthening the rights of young girls, for example. And so we come to issues like gender justice and economic empowerment. And so you see how the issue of health is related to other issues like food security, like gender justice, like economic empowerment. And that if a church understands that, then HIV is not just a health issue you hear on the radio or in a whatever, but it's something that concerns you as a church. It's something that is part of our faith.
Absolutely.
And then it becomes our concern to engage in a positive way, in a constructive way, to deal with that infection. And that is actually what has happened over the past, let's say, 20 years that I've been with Mission 21, that our members, our churches have really engaged in a positive way to strengthen gender justice and to reduce the risk of HIV infections. So,
no, I'm
is that a little bit of an example?
Yes, absolutely. It's a great thing to hear somebody at least champion the intersectionality of health and religion, especially if we are going to address challenges that are in the global south. So I really I'm excited about your session. I'm excited about your, getting to even learn more about this topic, the global health catalyst. And it doesn't affect just the global south. Even here in the United States, when you look at immigrant communities, the way they are organized here I live in Massachusetts, is that they are mostly influenced by the religious organizations. So, and that's where they get most of their information. That's where they get most of the services, asylum seekers, whoever needs help. Food insecurity, even here in the United States, is very common. So thank you again for this opportunity to introduce this session to us. And I look forward to learning more, to engaging more in conversations about this at the Global Health Catalyst Summit and beyond. So, and thank you for everything you do to improve humanity.
Thank you very much for that, for the conversation, Vivian. I'm really looking forward to further exchanging with you and to meeting people at the conference in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. And to our viewers, look out for more videos about global health and the different stakeholders that are really doing amazing work in global health. Thank you for watching for now. Till next time.
Thank you very much, Vivian.